The biggest passenger plane in the world has been flying commercially for less than 12 years, but apparently airlines can't wait to dump it. Last week, Air France was the latest carrier, joining Lufthansa and others, to announce plans to retire its fleet of Airbus A380 jets. And very ironically, Air France and Lufthansa are the airlines of France and Germany, the principal builders of the Airbus A380. Perhaps equally ironic, when Airbus announced the coming end of production of the A380, it may have provided somewhat cover for airlines operating the aircraft, freeing them to announce an end to their operation of the uneconomical craft. To be fair, Air France was faced with the need to upgrade the aging cabins and seating, particularly business class, of its A380's to be competitive with newer aircraft. The cost of such an upgrade was estimated at over $45 million per airplane. A spokesperson confirmed, "We will not renew the cabins of our A380's due to the scheduled departure of the aircraft." An Air France A380 lost an engine over Greenland in 2017. More recently, Air France A380's were also reported to be potentially susceptible to wing cracks for the second time in 7 years. But dump and retire are such harsh words. Instead, Air France KLM called the move the evolution of its fleet, with more modern, high-performance aircraft with significantly reduced environmental footprint. In practice, this means dropping Airbus's largest aircraft, the A380, and picking up a flock of its smallest, the A220. The airline will require 60 Airbus A220-300s, each capable of carrying 149 passengers, and retiring the 10 A380s from the Air France fleet by 2022. The airline also says it will study the replacement of A380s by new generation aircraft. The only area where bigger is better to today's airlines is in profitability, and the A220-300 is said to reduce cost per seat by more than 10% compared to the A318 and A319. It will replace on the Air France short and medium haul network. With increasing anger at airlines over climate change, it may also help that the A220-300 generates 20% less CO2 emissions than comparable aircraft and is twice as quiet. But the big news is not the little planes that Air France is adding, but the gentle giant it will bid adieu to. The Air France KLM Board of Directors approved the retirement of the remaining 7 A380s from the Air France fleet by 2022. Phasing out 3 leased aircraft had already been decided. Now the remaining 2 leased planes and the 5 owned aircraft are, perhaps literally, headed for the scrap heap. It seems a sad fate, after what Air France calls its participation in a singular adventure in the history of aeronautics, the creation of the world's largest civil aircraft. The now soon-to-be completed saga of the A380 began in 1996 with Air France's active participation in work groups, with Airbus as Air France sought to help design an aircraft to meet its customers' expectations. The problem with the A380, unfortunately, proved not to be in terms of the expectations of the passengers, but of the airlines themselves. Air France was remarkably honest about the plane's issues in its departure announcement. The current competitive environment limits the markets in which the A380 can profitably operate. With 4 engines, the A380 consumes 20 to 25% more fuel per seat than new generation long-haul aircraft, and therefore emits more CO2, increasing aircraft maintenance costs, as well as necessary cabin refurbishments to meet customer expectations, reduce the economic attractiveness of Air France's A380s even further. Keeping this aircraft in the fleet would involve significant costs. Nonetheless, although the airline has announced that it will sell, scrap, or retire to the leaseholder its A380 aircraft by 2022, potential flyers still have at least 2 years to fly the giant. So, what do you think of all of this? Is it a smart move? Or could the airline be more careful, put the money into renovating it, and make it one of a kind in the shrinking industry of the A380? I would love to hear your opinion. So, drop a comment down below, and if you enjoyed today's video, give it a like, share with friends and family to spread the word, and subscribe to keep up with the latest in aviation. So, until next time, keep your eyes on the skies.